this single mother is about to expose a trafficking ring that even the police are too lazy to investigate. Now, this woman, her name is Cheta. She lives in one of those crowded Lagos apartment blocks where everybody knows everybody, but nobody really knows anything. You know the kind of building I'm talking about now? Children go they shout in the corridors, ceiling fan go they do like angry bee, generator go they call from every corner. That is her work. Cheta is in her mid-30s and she's a secondary school teacher. Every evening you can find her by her window with red pen in her hand, grading piles of essays. She doesn't go out much. She doesn't gossip like the other neighbors. She just sits in her small flat, sipping cold garden water, marking papers, and sneaking glances through the window into the compound. Her son is usually asleep on a thin mattress behind her while she walks. That is the rhythm of her life. But then, something strange now happens. One night, around 12 a.m., she notices one of her neighbors receiving a very bulky package. No noise, no conversation, just exchange, hand off, the man disappears inside. Another night, she sees a flickering bulb in one flat. At first, she thinks it's NEPA wahala. But then she notices that it blinks in a pattern. On, off, pause, on again, like somebody is sending signal. And it's not just that. A group of young men are rotating visits between two apartments. They never ever appear in daylight, always at odd hours. Cheta mutters under her breath, all these strange people. This building know the rest too. At first, she just shrugs it off. But on a Sunday afternoon, the whole compound hears the news. A young girl from the neighborhood has gone missing. And the police, they dismiss it immediately. They tell her parents it's probably a runaway case. Cheta freezes when she hears the name. She knows the girl now. She has seen her sleeping into one of those suspicious flats before. Suddenly, every strange flicker, every 2 a.m. delivery, every shadowy visitor starts to feel connected. She starts to wonder if that missing girl stumbled onto something she was not supposed to see. And here's where the tension now kicks in. Cheta realizes she might be the only person who actually noticed that pattern. But if she's wrong, she will now look like a nosy busybody. If she's right, she could be putting herself and her son in danger. That's the setup. But the story, it just starts. Cheta doesn't just sit still. She starts documenting everything. Every arrival, every flickering light, every odd delivery. She scribbles it in a battered notebook, then hides it under her son's old textbook. At night, she writes by candlelight. 2:07 a.m. Package delivered to flat 7C. 3:15 a.m. Light signal repeated 3 times. But soon enough, people notice her watching. One evening, there's a concon on her door. One of the young men from the suspicious flat leans on her doorframe, grinning too wide. Auntie teacher, you told them watch us, oh. Cheta forces a laugh and shuts the door quickly. Her son, peeking from behind, asks, Mommy, why are you writing all these things? She hushes him, kisses his forehead, and says it's just schoolwork. Things escalate. Late one night, Cheta sees something that makes her blood run cold. The missing girl's scarf is caught in the gate of flat 7C. Before she can reach, a man pulls it inside and slams the door shut. Her first instinct is to go and bang on that door and scream, but she freezes. Instead, she flips through her notes and realizes something terrifying. The girl disappeared on the exact night a larger than usual shipment arrived. That flickering bulb is a signal, a warning for couriers before the packages arrive. Cheta is no longer just suspicious, she's convinced. She takes her notebook to the police, but the officers laugh her off. Madam, people like you, they always exaggerate. Now runaway case. They don't even look at her notes. For a moment, she feels defeated. Maybe she should just mind her business. Maybe she should burn the notebook and protect her son. But the universe does not let her quit. At school the next day, she overhears her students whispering, that girl Chika, she won't just run away. She was scared of someone. Cheta's resolve hardens. She remembers an honest detective she once met while reporting a stolen Okada. She tracks him down and slips him her notebook. Her hands are trembling. And that decision, it changes everything. Now this is where the story gets really interesting. The detective takes her seriously. He sets up a sting operation using her notes as evidence. One night, police vans crawl into the compound with their headlights off. Boots hit the ground in silence. Cheta stands at her window, clutching her son close, her heart racing. Then chaos erupts. Police, stay where you are. Doors are kicked in. Men are dragged out in handcuffs. Boxes are cracked open, revealing passports, cash, hidden compartments. And from one locked room, the officers bring out the missing girl alive, trembling but safe. By morning, the entire compound is buzzing. Neighbors who once called her Nosy, Tatafo, now surround her with respect. Madam Cheta, you try, yo. You saved that girl. Cheta, who once felt invisible, has suddenly become a hero. Her quiet watchfulness, the same thing people mocked, is what saved her community. And that's not even the most powerful part. Later that evening, she sits back at her window, red pen in hand, grading essays. The same old routine, but the view has changed. The children below are playing safely in the courtyard. She glances at her notebook, no longer just a secret journal, but a symbol of vigilance. She whispers to herself, sometimes the person that is watching is the one who saves everybody. And our lesson for today is this. Never ever underestimate the power of paying attention. Evil thrives in silence and shadows, but one watchful neighbor can change everything. If you see something wrong, don't convince yourself it's none of your business. Because sometimes being nosy, that is exactly what saves a life.